class. My name is Mohammed Mahmoud Khalifa. I'm to teach you a course BUS222 Business Statistics 2 of a Business Administration Department. It's a 3-credit unit course offered by the 200 level Business Administration Department only. The course outline for this course is a continuation of our first semester BUS212, that is the Business Statistics 1. So this one is the continuation of the first semester course. The course outline for this course, we have some elementary probability concept, that is introductory aspect of probability. And we also have probability rules, events, and others, where we are going to discuss the rule of addition and multiplication. And we also have the number 3 in our course outline is a probability distribution of discrete random variables. We are going to discuss that one. Then the number 5 in our course outline is probability binomial distribution. That is the number 4. Number 4 is the binomial distribution. Number 5 in our course outline is Poisson distribution of probability. Number 6 in our course outline is hypergeometric distribution of probability. And then number 7 in our course outline is the normal distribution. And we have number 8 in our course outline, which is sampling and sampling technique, where we are going to discuss population, sample size, and sample size determination, and we are going to discuss sampling techniques. And number 9 in our course outline is testing of hypothesis. One, we are going to start discussing the testing of hypothesis with how we can test hypothesis using regression. Then the number 10 in our course outline, we are going to discuss how you can test hypothesis using chi-square. And number 11 in our course outline, we are going to discuss how you can test hypothesis using ANOVA, that is analysis of variance. These are our course outline for the course. And after the course outline, the next thing our course outline. The first item in our course outline is the introductory elementary concept. In the elementary concept, some elementary probability concepts. That is the introductory aspect of probability. We are going to start with the definition of probability. Probability is a numerical measure of the likelihood that an event will occur. Thus, it could be used as a measure of the degree of uncertainty that something may likely going to occur. So, and the probability is between 1 to 0. That is between 0 to 1. Probability is defined as a value between 0 and 1. That shows that the likelihood of occurrence of an event. If the value is 0, the event can never occur. It can never or likely to occur. Anything in probability line between 0 to 1, at the middle we have 0.5. And that 0, you can convert it. In probability, you can change probability to fraction, and you can also change it to decimal, and you can change it to percentage. So 0 is 0%, and at the middle we have 0.5, which is 50%, and at the end we have 1, which is the same as 100%. So you can even change it to fraction if you wish. And the probability is showing you that anything between 0 to 0.5 unlikely. This is unlikely. The probability of occurrence of that particular event is very, very low, and it may likely not going to occur. But probability between 0.5 to 1, which is between 50% to 100, is likely going to occur. But any probability that is 1 is certain that that particular thing must occur. But if it is below that, there is a tendency that that particular thing it may occur and it may not likely occur. So the probability, for example, now the probability that a mango tree will bear an orange fruit is 0. This means you can't see any mango tree with orange fruit. It's only orange tree that can bear that orange fruit. So And if the probability is 1, it means that the event is sure to occur. The probability that a man born of a woman will die one day is 1. This means that the probability that we will all die one day is 1. Whether even if you live 100 years, 200 years, one day you will die. That particular probability is certain and is 1. And the probability values are always assigned on a scale from 0 to 1. Is the scale, probability may never be more than 1. So a probability value of 0 indicates that an event never occur. It will never occur. While the probability value of 1 indicates that an event will certainly happen. In between these two extremes, that is between 0 and 1, a probability value near 0 indicates an event is unlikely to occur. A probability value that is near 1 indicates an event is almost certain to occur. It's likely going to occur. So, and we have some basic terms that we are using in probability, which they are very, very important for us to know those very important terms. So some of the important terms that we are using in probability, we have experiment. This is a process that generates well-defined outcomes. It is an activity or measurements that results in outcome. So some of the activities, some of the experiments, some of the things that you are doing that will generate that particular outcome is called experiment. For example, now, if you toss a coin, or if you flip a coin, it has two sides. That particular tossing a coin or flipping a coin is an experiment. If you roll a die now, it has 6 sides. So one of the side will appear. So by rolling it, doing that is regarded as an experiment. And the second term that we're using probability is called event. One or more of the possible outcome of an experiment is a subset of the sample space. If you toss a coin, one thing must occur. That particular thing that occurs is called event. That is the random. That is also called randomness. So if you toss a coin, this means that particular thing that happened after tossing a coin is called event. So, and the next term that we have is sample space. All possible outcomes of an experiment, it is the set of all experiment outcomes. An experimental outcome is also called sample point. So if after tossing the coins, the probability that may likely occur, the total of that particular probability is regarded as sample space. For example, now if you toss a coin, it has how many sides? 2 sides. So that particular 2 sides, either head or tail, the 2 sides is regarded as sample space. And for example, if you roll a dice, it may be one of the 6 sides of the die. So this means that particular 1 to 6 is regarded as a word sample space. For example, now if you are playing a game, a football game or any game, it may either to win or lose or draw, that is time. So any of these 3 is regarded as sample space, because if you do anything, the event, it will come from that particular sample space. Because for example, now if you toss a coin, which we say it has 2 sides, head and tail. So this means one of these 2 will happen, either a head or a tail. That particular, the 2 are sample space. The one that happened is regarded as event. So, and we have different types of probability. The types of probability, we have objective and we have subjective. But in some books, understand, they categorize it as theoretical, which is also called mathematical, and they also and the other type. But for the purpose of this class, we have only let's discuss types of probability based on objective and subjective. You know, when something is objective, this means there is a numerical data available. There is a data available that you are using in order to test or to find a probability of occurrence of that particular event. So if you have something like that, that particular thing is regarded as objective, because you are using a data available in order to carry out your probability test to know whether there is a possibility of occurrence or there is no possibility of an occurrence. And we also have subjective probability. Subjective is not using any numerical value. You are using your judgment, personal judgment or discretion. So let's start with the objective. The objective probability can be divided into two. We have classical probability and we have relative frequency probability. The classical probability as one of the category of objective probability is defined as follows. If some event can occur in N, mutually exclusive and equally likely ways, and if M of this possesses characteristic of E, the probability of the occurrence of E is equal to M. That is called classical. For example, now, if you toss a coin, it may either give you a head or a tail. So the probability of E of that particular event is regarded as what? 1/2, because the total event that will occur is 2. That is the total samples, the sample space. So if it is classical, this is going to be 1/2. For example, now if you roll a die, which it has how many sides? We say 6 sides. So if you roll it, it will give you 1/6. That is the event probability of E is going to be 1/6. The 6 is the total, is the sample space, while that particular one is the success, what happened after rolling the die. So the classical approach also describe a probability in terms of the proportion of times that an event can theoretically expected to occur. So for example now, for outcomes that are equally likely to occur, so the probability is the number of possible outcomes in which the event occur all over total number of possible outcomes. The total number of possible, for example, now if it is a coin, the number of possible outcome is 1, and the total number of possible outcome is what? 6. And if it is a die, the number of possible outcome is 1, and the total number of possible outcomes is 6. So for example, if a die is rolled once, what is the probability of getting 6? This means is 1/6. You can see it 1 plus, because it has how many sides? 6. So and if a couple makes 5 trials at birth and records 3 male children, what is the probability of having a success if the birth of a male child is regarded as a success? So this means if they try, and in their trial they try 3 times, and 5 times, sorry, they try 5 times, and after 5 times trials, and they recorded 3 male, and male child is regarded as success. So this means the probability of having a success is 3/5. So the probability of having a success is 3/5 because the sample space is 5. The trial, that is the total number of trials, and the number of success is 3/5. This means the probability of getting another male child is 0.6, which is the same as 60%. So this means there is a 60% chance of still having a male child if they make another trial. So and the second category of objective probability is regarded as a relative frequency approach. In the relative frequency approach, probability is the proportion of times an event is observed to occur in a very large number of trials. For a very large number of trials, probability is regarded as a number of trials in which the event occurs all over total number of trials. Let me give you one simple example. For example, now, if you roll, for example, sorry, if you toss a coin, let's say 10 times. If you toss it 10 times, this means we have head and tail. So head is, we have head and we have tail. If you did it 10 times, the head may appear may appear, let's say 6 times, and the tail may appear 4 times. So this means the probability now for the relative frequency of head, which we say is 6, which is the same as saying that 6/10, because the total number of trials is 10, and the number of trials in which head occur is 6. That is why it's 6/10. And for tail, which appeared or occurred 4 times, this means the probability for that tail is regarded as 4/10, because number of trials in which that particular tail occur is 4, and the total number of the trials is 10, which is 4/10. This is the relative frequency, and it may be more than that. Even if it is a die that it has 1 to 6, you can number it 1, 2, 6. For each of them, how many times it occur, and then you will divide that particular number that occur by the total number of trial. It will give you the relative frequency of that particular site. That is the relative frequency. And when we are solving some example together with you, let's solve this example. We have one example here. An experiment with 3 outcomes has been repeated. You can see it has been repeated 50 times. This means the trials, the total number of trials is 50. And it was learned that E1 occurred 20 times. So this means that particular experiment, it has 3 possible outcomes, which is E1, E2, and E3. And E1 occurred 20 times, E2 occurred 13 times, and E3 occurred 17 times. So this means that the relative frequency of E1 occur is 20/50, and the relative frequency of E2 is 13/50, and the relative frequency of E3 is 17/50. So if you do that, it will give you the relative frequency for each of them, both E1, E2, and E3. I think this is just a summary of some basic concept in probability. And in our next class, we are going to, inshallah, discuss some of the rules of and events of probability, where we are going to discuss mutually exclusive event and independent event, and we are going to also discuss the rules of addition and multiplication in the probability. Thank you.